looking live at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Around these parts, it's known simply as Death Valley. And why not? LSU has won 21 straight games here. And tonight, high-flying South Carolina challenges that streak wearing their specially designed battle uniforms. We welcome you to ESPN College Football Prime Time. And around the SEC, unbeaten Alabama continues to roll, putting away Missouri. And what about LSU here tonight? They've lost their growl. And South Carolina stays cocky. Welcome, everybody, to Kirk Street. I'm Brent Musburger. Wherever we went this week, folks wanted to talk about the Gamecocks, Herbie.
And it's not just in the SEC. I really believe South Carolina, after their performance last week on national TV against Georgia, they become one of the trendy teams in all of America. Now the question is, can they go on the road, beginning tonight, of course, here in Death Valley, next week in the Swamp, and play with that same passion and enthusiasm that carried them to a decisive win over Georgia last week?
And, of course, they've got some fine stars. Their running back, Marcus Lattimore, because of what happened at West Virginia, he could climb into the Heisman Trophy talk tonight, and you love the quarterback.
I really do. Connor Shaw is the trigger man. He's kind of a gritty guy who I think really will show his leadership. He's going to have to make some plays with his arm. He's been making a lot of plays with his feet. If I'm LSU, as much as Marcus Lattimore is the go-to guy, I've got to stop number 14 to be able to give myself a chance to be able to slow down South Carolina's big playability.
Now, Herbie, a week ago, Florida defeated LSU in Gainesville. What happened to the Tigers' growl?
I think the growl started to diminish in New Orleans in the national championship. I know their fan base got restless, not just because of the loss, but because of the outcome and the way it turned out. And I think it carried over into this year. They looked sluggish against Auburn. They finally went on the road and lost to Florida. I believe they're backed into a corner. I think they're going to come out and play with a lot of fire. This stadium is behind them. They need something good to happen early to get their confidence reestablished. And you know this team's going to bring plenty of swagger into the game.
Low-scoring game then tonight?
I really do. I think it'll be low-scoring. I think which quarterback avoids disaster will be the team that eventually will emerge as the winning team.
Well, we had a great scene in Columbia, South Carolina last Saturday night. But, folks, there are a few better than the one you're about to witness here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go down below to Heather Cox, who's with LSU coach Les Miles.
Brett, thanks so much, Coach. After your team took a hit last week with a disappointing loss to Florida, how have you gotten them refocused?
Well, our football team's used to winning. It's a group of guys that are very committed. They had a great week of practice. I think they're focused tonight.
This is a team that has a depleted O-line. The offense has struggled. What was your message to quarterback Zach Mettenberger and the entire offense before you took the field?
Well, to the offense, we just got to do our job. You know, we got a nice attack. We'll be good if we just execute. Sights your target. Let's go play.
Sounds like those South Carolina uniforms, Coach. Brent?
Thank you very much, Heather. Herbie, interesting that Steve Spurrier in South Carolina won the toss. They did not defer. They want the football. Why do you think that is?
Well, if we're in 1996, that would make a lot of sense with Steve Spurrier with the Florida Gators. But in a game that you would think on paper appears to be low scoring, he wants the football and to get his quarterback out there.
It's possible that the coaches have talked about the importance of scoring first in this game with this crowd.
Absolutely.
If he's able to get on the board first, he could take the air out. These people are a little uneasy in Louisiana about the performance of the team. Bruce Ellington awaits Harrison's kick, and away we go. It'll come out on the 25-yard line now. Herbie talked about Connor Shaw. He's a junior down around Atlanta, Flowery Branch, Georgia, where he played for his father in high school.
Brent, that says a lot when you say a high school coach's son. It really tells you about the intangibles. You hear the term in basketball when you're doing games at gym rat. That's kind of who Connor Shaw is. 6'1", 207 pounds. can throw the football better than I think people give him credit, but also runs about a 4.5, so they'll look for him to make some big plays with his feet as well.
And we begin. Who has the best defensive line in the SEC? Is it LSU? You'll watch those big rascals first. Shaw throws that screen quickly to the outside, and Bird. And Herbert, let's take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, when you do South Carolina, you start with Connor Shaw and quickly get to Marcus Lattimore, one of the top backs in all college football. Demir Bird got his hands on the ball there. He's got to get vertically in this game and make plays. And Chaz Sutton, number 90, and Jadeveon Clowney, they're going to be coming after Zach Mettenberger the entire game when the South Carolina defense is on the field.
Here comes the hammer. Lattimore, and Reed is wrestling with him, and you can see how difficult it is to bring him down for the first man to make contact.
Eric Reed, a veteran safety for LSU and one of the real leaders of this team, was a valuable commodity last year for John Chavis, the defensive coordinator from LSU. Very physical, but that time, second play of the game, gets a feel what that collision is going to be like all night long against big number 21.
T.J. Johnson is the Gamecock center. Ellington's your motion receiver. 3rd and 1. Lattimore picks his way, tries to get it with a second effort. Let's see where they spot it. Tiger fans think that he is stopped just short, but it'll depend on the spot, and it does appear, if that yellow line is accurate, that he is just short. Sam Montgomery all fired up. He's a South Carolina native, number 99 on this defensive line.
Boy, he is talented, known for his pass rush ability, but there just pinching down, expecting an interior run, and was there to stop the play.
Odell Beckham Jr. back. It's a short punt. He'll probably let this one just bounce. And it took a South Carolina roll out of bounds around the 25-yard line. And now we turn our attention to the young man that folks are starting to wonder about. He came out of Georgia, went to JC, was in here last year and watched, and now Zach Mettenberger has taken over the Tigers.
And selfishly, this is the battle that I really wanted to see tonight. A reshuffled offensive line, a quarterback who is struggling, an offense that struggled last week on the road. Now they're back home, and you know that this first drive is very important for Mettenberger's confidence.
And also for this LSU offensive line. Perhaps the biggest story of the offense. It holds on first down, and he puts it in Beckham's hands for 9 yards. And let's take a look at the impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, they're going to have some 1st and 10 passing to take some of the pressure off of Kenny Hilliard. Spencer Ware, also number 11 tonight, will be seen. The left tackle, Josh Dorosic. Keep an eye on him, matched up against Jadeveon Clowney. Kevin Minter in the middle of that defense. We already took a look at him. And also Sam Montgomery, who will be applying a lot of pressure on Connor Shaw when the Tigers are on defense.
First down is so important when you've struggled on 3rd down. Here comes the toss play to Ware. Spencer Ware is stopped. He is short, and a fine play by Devontae Holliman. Now I want to show you folks just how much LSU's offense has struggled. I'm going to take you back through the last 3 SEC opponents. And yes, Alabama in the championship game is one of them. A week ago, and then there's Auburn. All right. They've had 36 drives against those defenses and 1 touchdown. They're converting only 21% on their 3rd downs, and they've been outscored 45-16. I mean, this offense has been swallowed in the SEC. Now the offset Hill. Play action under pressure. Gives it back to him on a beautiful middle screen. Spencer Ware with a huge play call by LSU.
Brent, you're going to remember this. Steve Spurrier calling this against Alabama in the SEC championship game in 1992. A little flip pass there to the running back. Let the speed get to you, and then the quarterback just flips it sidearm to the back.
Lou Holtz loved watching that play, folks. That was Tony Rice to the rocket. Get that man loose in the middle, and your offensive lineman can get downfield and block, unlike the NFL.
Little slip screen there. It reminded me of Shane Matthews to Eric Rett when Spurrier used to call that.
Now Michael Ford will replace Ware as the running back. Here comes the toss, trying to get to the edge. Holliman in pursuit finally forces him out of bounds. LSU, Herbie, and looking at the tape of the Georgia game of South Carolina, they felt the Bulldogs did not get back to the edge after having early success in that game, got away from it, and LSU was determined to try and exploit the edge here tonight.
Well, two completely different philosophies from Georgia to what you're going to see with LSU tonight. Their identity, if they have one at this point, is obviously with Les Miles running the football. But what I'd like to see so far from LSU, they've called 7 plays, 3 runs, 4 passes. They're really doing a good job of mixing it up and staying balanced.
Our eye look. And Ware slips. Coaches were determined to get number 11 some reps here tonight, and he's carrying the running back position down close to another first down.
He was such a big part of this offense a year ago, early in the year, and then as the season wore on, you saw more Michael Ford, Alfred Blue, even Kenny Hilliard. And then they thought coming into this year he had such a good offseason. His weight was down. He got dinged in camp, and now he's finally starting to get healthy, and now they think he can become the guy.
They take Mettenberger out. Hilliard comes into the game. They're going to set a wildcat. Spencer Ware was out early practicing, and there is number 11 is going to move up. Remember, he was a high school quarterback back in Cincinnati. Keeps it, steps for the first down. So a wrinkle coming up with some things here tonight, and it's 1st and goal for the Tigers.
I don't care who gets the football. Follow number 44 to the promised land. The fullback, J.C. Copeland, 6'1", 275 pounds. He'll lead you to that first down. Being from Ohio, I'm very familiar with Spencer Ware. It's been fun to watch him grow into a premier SEC back, but you're right. He was an outstanding high school quarterback at Cincinnati Princeton.
And they give it to Hilliard, and he is stopped short. Herbie, on that last conversion, LSU is now 4 for 4 on 3rd downs on this drive. Remember, they were only 1 of 13 against the Gators in Gainesville last week. Mettenberger checks the sideline on this 2nd down and goal. He'll show a tight formation. Hilliard is still the tailback. They'll run the toss. They'll try to get to the edge. Not going to do it. It'll be 3rd down and goal coming up now.
This defense is tough to score on. In fact, they've only given up 4 touchdowns, which is 4th in the nation.
Well, here it goes, and they hand it to Hilliard. They didn't give it to him. He was pushed back at the 1-yard line, and it is suddenly a 4th and goal.
It looked like, Brent, he was going to get in there. There's power football with Copeland leading the way. Goes right into the 2 linebackers. Looks like Shaq Wilson may stop him. Victor Hampton had a chance, but he did not extend the ball across the goal line. It's a heck of an effort there by both LSU's back Hilliard, and really a nice play there by Bowens at the goal line.
Now remember, the player Bowens has to come out for a play, and there he is on the sideline because he lost his helmet. No field goal team, and now they're out there. And this will be a 23-yard field goal attempt. LSU burns 2 timeouts, winds up with a false start, and they settle for a field goal, but they do score first. They jump ahead of South Carolina here by a 3-0 count. Here we go now. Hurston to kick it off. Bruce Ellington's back deep. Going to be fielded at the 5-yard line, and he is well short. Whoa, what great coverage that time. First down and 10. Constant shifting in that front. Lattimore picks his daylight. And a tough yard before Eric Reed, the hard-hitting safety, comes up to make the stop.
He's going to have to make those plays because you see the man in motion on the jet sweep. The corner ran with him. So that means the linebackers and the safeties, especially Eric Reed, have got to be able to find and locate Marcus Lattimore and be sure tacklers. This guy's one of the best in the SEC at breaking tackles and getting more yards. That time a great job by Reed.
Throwing situation here for Connor Shaw. And look at Mingo bring the crowd in. Shaw keeps it himself. A little bit of a read option, and sort of surprised about that play, huh, folks? And let's go down to Heather.
Herbie was just talking about how loud it is, and it is truly at its peak right now. I talked to Steve Spurrier about simulating practice noise this week, and he said, we don't do that. We won at the Swamp 2 years ago. We won at Georgia a year ago. We don't emphasize it. We don't use loudspeakers. No serious problems. But, guys, you see Connor Shaw running all over trying to talk to his offense. He lifts the foot for the cadence, but it's not working. It's so loud right now, guys.
3rd and 9, Heather, on the shotgun. Couldn't find someone. Takes off, and he's got to get down in a hurry at the 28-yard line because Reed had taken dead aim at the quarterback.
And again, Reed is just kind of sitting in the middle of the field, respecting the routes, but also keeping an eye on the quarterback. And as soon as he sees him start to take off, he's not hesitating. He's coming up to be able to make the play. Does a good job. The LSU defense, both times that South Carolina has had the ball, doing a really good job of corralling Connor Shaw.
Tyler Hull's the punter. Beckham is back deep. This time it takes an LSU bounce. He scoops it up on that sideline, but I believe it was out of bounds back there around the 42-yard line. Clowney trying to get to the middle, and they throw in that direction, and it was a fine play call. Clowney had to come from behind to bring Jeremy Hill down. Jeremy is just a freshman from Baton Rouge, but obviously he's got good hands.
What they do with Clowney, they stunt him to the inside, but I want you to watch, Brent, is the left tackle, DeRosick, and how he gets downfield. This is a guy that's had knee issues over the years. He locks up with a corner, and it's his effort downfield that eventually gave the back enough room for that first down. Really good job to see that big man out in front and to give the young freshman Hill enough room there. That effort got him the first down.
A 20-yard gain brings it on to the 38, and LSU on the move again. They come right back with Hill on the running play.
Well, they have a stable of backs, don't they?
They really do.
And it seems like it's been that way for the last 4 or 5 years for Les Miles. Even losing Alfred Blue, who is one of the more explosive players in that backfield. You still have now Spencer Ware coming back, getting healthy. Michael Ford, Kenny Hilliard, who's a power back, and even Jeremy Hill, the true freshman, in there. Whatever they can do to take pressure off of Zach Mettenberger is big, and we're seeing that tonight.
Odell Beckham is your slot receiver on the right. Intercepted. Picked off. Legree headed for the end zone. Needs one block. Reaches for the pylon, just short of it. Out of bounds on the Legree interception. Oh, how quickly things can turn around.
You talk about a play that you're right. This game just felt like this is how LSU wanted it to start after last week for Les Miles. Controlling things on that side of the football, and then this huge turnover. We'll see what happens.
Okay, it was judged to be down. Lattimore is the touchdown machine. I don't have to tell you, he's right alongside Connor Shaw. Odds on to get the carry. 21 cuts back in LSU, throws him for a loss that time, and Barrow is in on that stop. We come to the end of the first quarter. It'll be second down and goal. Big Spur loving that interception. Montgomery was shaken up on that play down at the end zone, and so he has come off on the sideline, and we hope he's going to be all right. During that timeout, one of the great legends down here, Paul Dietzel, was introduced to the crowd and got a huge ovation. Shaw rolling, throwing off the roll, touchdown, Sanders. Ace Sanders puts the first score on the board. A touchdown, I should say. First score was actually that LSU field goal.
How about man-to-man coverage, and Steve Spurrier uses his timeout because he saw the coverage that John Chavis selected before the timeout, put in the motion,
got the defensive back out of the way and isolated Ace Sanders one-on-one in coverage, and a good throw there by Connor Shaw.
Adam Yates tacks on the extra point. The Gamecocks. Well, Irving, we can get you on one of those airborne tours there. You know, Arthur down there in Dale Evans, about an hour and a half south of Baton Rouge. Then you can go on down and get some Tabasco, and oh yeah, good afternoon.
It'll be a great day. Isn't it amazing? College football and the emotions of this game, and especially in this conference, where the game feels like it's being dominated by the home team, and just like that, it can switch in the other way.
Well, for LSU, they've gone another quarter against SEC competition without a touchdown.
That's right.
That's 13. They've only scored one. That was against Auburn. That was a penalty, and they'll bring it out. So first down and 10. Ford and Copeland are in the backfield behind Mettenberger. Run that toss play with Ford. Beckham trying to get somebody out of the way, but he could not clear the path. And Auguste finally comes over and makes a stop. Akeem Auguste was shaken up a little bit last week, but he practiced late in the week for South Carolina, and here is number 3.
South Carolina has 8, sometimes 9 men stacked at the line of scrimmage. And this time LSU just flipped it real quick, used the speed to get out to the perimeter, and they'll take 6 or 7 yards every time on 1st and 10.
Copeland banging straight ahead across midfield.
Pretty good surge up front by that offensive line, and the big fella who's known for his blocking getting his hands on the football today a little bit and paying off for him. They're surprising South Carolina with that quick hitter.
Herbie, unless I'm mistaken, I don't see Clowney. You see down at this defensive front. He's on the sideline right now with his hat on, and he was not out there for that run. Mettenberger going to fire to the right side, incomplete. The Beckham. The crowd's going to grow uneasy if LSU's passing game doesn't pick it up here. Now Clowney returns.
About the athletic ability that we saw last week from Devontae Holloman, number 21. He's had 2 games back-to-back in the SEC against Kentucky, and then last week against Georgia, where the coaches have singled him out. That time climbing the ladder, getting his hand on the ball, and he's the reason that pass was not completed. A good job up front there by him.
Converted safety. Walks it up to the linebacker, able to cover those receivers. 2nd down and 10. Mettenberger, deeper drop, hit on the release, and Beckham hangs on. Beautiful catch by Odell Beckham, the sophomore from New Orleans.
How about the job here this time by the quarterback? He's taken a lot of criticism because he won't sit in the pocket under pressure. Watch this. Quinn Smith comes right in as he's releasing the ball. He handles it. He keeps his vision and his sight downfield and makes a good throw.
And they're quickly to the line of scrimmage. Trying to run a little up-tempo here. And Michael Ford.
I think the defense wasn't set. You can see that they're just trying to get aligned. And a quick hitter, Brent, you're right. Here comes the tempo for the Tigers.
Coming right up to the line of scrimmage now. Mettenberger has what he wants. Copeland is hit in the backfield by Clowney, who broke that play up. Keeps it alive, and Clowney coming from behind him at the 15-yard line. Clowney blew the play up originally.
How about the effort, though, to go chase him down? Because you're right, it looked like he had a tackle for a loss, but instead of staying on the ground, watch out from behind, because Copeland's still running, and you love to see Clowney not just give up on the play. Known as a pass rusher, but has shown in recent weeks his ability also to defend the run.
2nd down and 10, short drop. Got to throw that fade, got an open receiver, and he overthrew Jarvis Landry. Landry was open. And Mettenberger, a little bit too much air in that ball.
Brent, watch the slant to the inside. They've been going there a lot, and then back to the outside. And Legree, who had the interception, who jumped the route, he fell for it. He went way to the inside. Perfect time for LSU to go to it. The ball just not quite up in the air enough for Landry to run underneath.
McGee and Wright checking as was. Now faces a 3rd and 10. P.J. Lonergan, the strongest member of the offensive line, snaps it to Mettenberger and knocked down by Clowney. Wanted to set the screen in his direction, and they have knocked it down, and this crowd is going to be uneasy now.
Watch Dorosic try to chop him here at the line of scrimmage. We saw last week by Gates, the left tackle from Georgia, that when you go underneath, you don't have much of a chance because he's so agile. He has an ability to go up and over that and maintain his balance, and then he gets his hand up and knocks the ball down.
So Drew Alama. .32-yard field goal, and did not make it. So not only is the passing game misfiring, now even a normally reliable field goal unit is hooking it. Offensive troubles continue with LSU. 4.5 minutes left here in the first half. Shaw moving the pocket and goes back to Ace. Ace is out of bounds, short of the first down that time, and he's become the #1 weapon here.
And I don't mean to pick on Jalen Mills. He's probably going to become an All-American down the road. He's out of DeSoto, Texas. He's a true freshman. And who is he replacing? Tyrann Mathieu. He's had a good start to his career, but it's tough shoes to fill. And right now, these last couple plays, Steve Spurrier's going after it.
2nd down and 3 for the Gamecocks. Sprints out of trouble. Can he get the first down? He's going to throw for it. And again, it's Ace Sanders, 3 in a row. The junior from Bradenton, Florida, and a penalty flag flies.
I think they're going to call offensive pass interference this time.
There's a flag inside the 40-yard line.
Officials are going to have to discuss it and find out. I know Mills was arguing his case.
The Ace is acting like this is going to go against him if you saw the body language.
Illegal touching.
He came out of
On
bounds.
the offense, number 1, he went out of bounds and was the first to touch the pass after coming into the field of play. That penalty is a loss of down at the previous spot. 3rd down.
It's not by accident. This one's going to come back, Brent, but it's not by accident that this series, Steve Spurrier has adjusted his play calling. And LSU all of a sudden is playing with soft coverage until this 3rd down, but they've been playing with soft corners, and that's what they've been trying to pick apart.
Need 3 yards. Lattimore behind Shaw.
This is where Shaw's athletic ability can come into play.
Blitzer is picked up. Shaw going for the corner, and Herbie, he's got it, the first down.
It's the 8th time this year that when things have broken down, Connor Shaw finds a way to pick up a first down. Linebacker right here is actually going to keep an eye on him, Barrow. He's assigned to a good block by Lattimore. Now it's just a foot race to try to get to the corner. We've seen this time and time again with Connor Shaw. Huge first down there for South Carolina.
Herbie Lattimore just buried Minter, who had a 3 shot at him. You said a good pickup by Lattimore, and he got him. And now Kenny Miles checks into the backfield for the Gamecocks on 1st and 10. Play action, in trouble, dumps it off. He just had to get rid of it. And he fed it to the outside because Rasco was all over the quarterback that time.
Rasco's a backup sophomore defensive end that plays behind Mingo and Edwards. He does a really good job of coming off this. Right away, he has been assigned all week to take the quarterback when he sees that look. He didn't hesitate. He didn't buy the fake. And how about the effort there by Shaw just to get rid of the ball, and he got slammed after he threw it.
Inside of 2 minutes now. 2nd down and 10. The ball across the LSU 30. Straight back. Can't find a receiver, and he's got to go down and take a sack. had to throw that ball away, and he couldn't as big Josh Downs closed in and sacked the LSU quarterback.
Well, John Chavis, the defensive coordinator from LSU, is aggressive. He's going to bring pressure. He brings linebackers this time, a stunt in front of them with the defensive line. Connor Shaw has nowhere to go, and sometimes when you're an athletic quarterback and you rely on your feet against a defense like this, it can backfire on you.
Chavis and Steve Spurrier have squared off a lot through the years. Chavis used to be at Tennessee, and when Spurrier was at Florida, they had some knockdown dragouts. 3rd down and 20. Terrific protection. Can't find anybody downfield. Incomplete, and it will bring up a 4th down.
Steve Spurrier caught a break there because Ronald Martin, backup safety, read the eyes of Connor Shaw the whole way and stepped in front of the intended receiver and almost came up with a big turnover here before the half.
Odell Beckham.
So the punter is on. Tyler Hall. Beckham back deep again, standing at about the LSU 11-yard line. This one's buried at the 3-yard line.
Well, let's see, you have 178 yards of offense for LSU and 3 points. And you got 69 yards of offense for Steve Spurrier, 7 points because of the big turnover.
It's 14 quarters. Last 14 quarters against SEC competition and 1 touchdown. The LSU will get the ball to start the second half, trailing 7-3. Let's go down to Heather Cox now with the head ball coach.
Thanks so much, Brent. Coach, the last 3 minutes you appeared visibly frustrated. In fact, we almost got a visor throw out of you. What's frustrating you?
We can't get the ball flowing where it's supposed to right now. Connor, he got discombobulated a little bit. But we're fortunate to be ahead, so we got to be thankful right now.
Coach, you talked about the importance of a quick start. You got that with a touchdown, but then things slowed down. How do you rev it up?
I've been calling terrible plays. We're gonna throw the ball a little bit.
I like the 4th and 2, though, Coach. Thanks.
One of everybody's favorites. Steve Spurrier, the Gamecocks lead it 7-3. Now let's toss it to Reese Davis, the Buick halftime report. Take it away, Reese. And South Carolina, the number 3 team in the nation, leads the Tigers 7-3. We welcome you back with Heather Cox, Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Brett Musburger. And Kirk, there was just that one play that I think really spelled the difference in this football game.
I agree with you, and I think if we look at the Expedia play of the first half, I think you'll find exactly what's happened here. Because LSU, to their credit, they're moving the ball. There's one turning point. It's Jimmy LeGree reading the route. The receiver, Landry, looks up, sees the quarterback, the ball's in the air. LSU's had a little bit of success prior to that play, so it gave them a little bit of a hint when to jump the route, and he did it at the right time to set up that touchdown for South Carolina.
So LSU will get the ball. If you weren't with us, Steve Spurrier did not defer on winning the toss. He took the game, the football, to start this game. And Ford and Landry are back deep. You see number 42 is Ford for the Tigers, and away we'll go. And we set sail. Ford, he's going to come out. 15, 20, spin. Solid return to the 33. Now let's see what the LSU coaching staff decided here. Let's throw on 1st down. Incomplete. And let's check in down below with Heather Cox.
Guys, I talked to Les Miles about any tweaks we might see on the offense. He said we're moving the ball well. We just can't shoot ourselves in the foot when we get into the red zone. I asked about how he'd assess his O-line play, and he said, considering the circumstances, I'm satisfied. If we finish the way we start, we'll be in good shape. Now, a quick update on Spencer Ware. He was cramping. Coach Miles described it as full body cramping. They worked feverishly in the locker room to give him fluids. He ran out seconds ago and is available. Not out yet, but is available in the second half, guys.
All right, Heather, here it is 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion, and they're going to keep it up in the air. The diving reception by James Wright.
I think that's the battle to watch here in this second half for LSU. Their receivers have got to get separation, whether it's James Wright or Kadron Boone or Odell Beckham. Jarvis Landry. The South Carolina defense, they're challenging him. Those corners are up tight. They're challenging him in man-to-man coverage. They need to throw the ball, and Mettenberger needs his receivers to get off of that press coverage. See it again here.
So 7 for 10 on 3rd down. This time Mettenberger needs 5 yards to move the chains. Offensive line does a good job, and he picks up Landry for the first down across midfield. Good job by the offensive line.
Absolutely, Brent. Also, watch the eyes of Mettenberger. He thinks he's going to go left, but eventually you'll see the receiver work his way back and eventually finds a window. That shows you the maturity of Zach Mettenberger and what he's capable of doing. He waited, he had time, as you mentioned, with the offensive line, and by the time Landry cleared, it was a good throw.
Josh DeRosick, a 6th-year senior, took only 9 snaps 2 weeks ago, and he's matched against Clowney. Little tight end help, and they run away from Clowney this time, and a solid run by Kenny Hilliard. Hilliard's a powerful sophomore from Patterson, Louisiana. That's a 17-yard run.
Fullback does a really good job of leading the way. The tight end who's in there. You can see the blocking there on the right side. They actually had a big tackle there. They brought both tackles there. A little unbalanced look there to the right side. And Vidal Alexander, the true freshman, starting to really settle in there on the right side. Nice job opening that up.
This is what the Gators did to LSU in Gainesville last week. Just started to gouge him in the second half with Gillisley. This time Mettenberger's going to put it up short of the first down on the completion, and that was Boone, Kadron Boone. Hampton making the stop on Kadron.
And there's that battle to the outside. The coverage is tight, making these receivers have to work to get open. But Mettenberger, I think, at least here on this drive, finding his rhythm, keeping his feet underneath him, keeping his balance, making 2 good throws here the last 2 times he's had to drop back to throw the football.
And they run for it. Hilliard. Right side of that line, and remember, it's a couple of freshmen in there. Turner from New Orleans and Alexander from Beaufort, Georgia.
Well, it has been a treat to watch these guys work up front. You're talking about a lot of inexperience. If you've joined us late, the 5th starting offensive line in 7 games.
Hilliard again. And they went straight behind P.J. Lonergan, the center. Holloman forced to make the stop.
But it's one thing to move the ball, because for the most part LSU's been able to do that. What do they do with it once they get down into the red zone? They've been inside the 25-yard line 3 times, and so far they don't have a lot of points.
Second and 7. Neighbors is now the fullback in front of young Jeremy Hill. Leads the way, gashing to the 6-yard line, and the South Carolina front is reeling on this drive.
Communication very good that time. The left guard Collins indicating with a little bit of a hand gesture to the fullback about where he had his alignment with his defensive line and what he wanted him to do. That thing opened up in a hurry.
Now they run that toss. Reaches for the end zone. Touchdown LSU. Jeremy Hill. Grew up here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
That's what you do with it when you get into the red zone. This time they didn't get cute. You didn't see a wildcat. You didn't see him try to throw it. They ran the football right into the teeth of the South Carolina defense.
They went right at Mr. Clowney.
Sure did.
And that can happen sometimes. A great rushman. They'll put pressure on and come after you. Alama adds the extra point for LSU. Now on this touchdown, Check a very relieved Coach Miles. So just moments ago, with his freshman tackle and only his third start, young Alexander. Remember now, Les Miles played guard for Bo Schembechler. This is his specialty, dealing with the offensive line. And Herbie, when you think about his young line here tonight, having missed all of those starters, these youngsters have done an excellent job, especially on that drive.
I think if they go on to win this game, I think the story of the game has got to be the reshuffled offensive line and the way they've played against the South Carolina defensive line. And a lot of people after last week were saying it might be one of the best in the country.
Harrison kicks it away. Ellington deep in the end zone. First down and 15. Play action. Spurrier wants to keep it. Drop it off now to Lattimore, who's a good receiver, to the 27-yard line. That gives him a little space, and they get back just beyond the original line of scrimmage before Mentor makes a stop. Herbie, you talked about Mentor last week and all the tackles he made against Florida. When the Gators ran it down their throat to take the lead, Mentor had cramps and was off on the sideline, and it was noticeable. I mean, really noticeable as to how the Gators were gashing that defense without Mentor. Now on the roll, Shaw complete again, and diving is Ace Sanders for the first down.
When in doubt, if they have to throw the ball, they're going to throw it to the right and try to find Jalen Mills in soft coverage. We haven't seen a lot of success tonight with Connor Shaw throwing the ball, but when he has thrown, a lot of it has been to the right side of the South Carolina offense, where they're going after that Jalen Mills. Again, backed off. This time they bring him up a little bit tighter to the line of scrimmage.
Shaw checking with Spurrier. Option. Shaw keeps it. First down, 40 and out of bounds. Beautiful look off the option, and Connor Shaw showed you why he's so dangerous running.
Speed option. They've not shown this a lot. Here's his pitch man, 57, and he actually gives him a little shake like he's going to pitch the ball, and it was just enough to make Barrow hesitate. Watch Barrow right there. He bites on that, allows him to cut up underneath, and there's again an indication of what kind of quickness Connor Shaw has.
17 yards and the ball across the LSU 40. Option the other side. This time it's Lattimore. And Lattimore getting close to the 30 with Mentor making the stop.
Sometimes it's tough with a slower developing play. This is a little bit slower than what you saw the previous play with the speed option, but because they set it up with the formation, and again, you can see Connor Shaw, they get a great block there on the left side by Corey Robinson, the young left tackle. That's valuable yardage there on 1st and 10.
2nd and 5, and he signals to Shaw what he wants, and so Shaw backs it up, moves the pocket, and waits to fire it up on top. Got a man. Great catch. 5. Hit the pylon. Touchdown. Justice Cunningham makes a huge play, and you Shaw Spurrier tell him throw it up over the top. The old head ball coach made that call, and Shaw went to it.
Well, they did this last week where they get an aggressive defense flowing with the quarterback rolling and moving the pocket.
He's out of bounds, Herbie.
Yep, yeah, he is. But just like last week, you get Cunningham on a delay. They find him. LSU went for the football instead of trying to make a play on Cunningham. Clearly stepped out of bounds before he got it into the end zone.
So here we come now for the 2.5-yard line. Lattimore in there. Shaw is back in the gun. Wants a little motion. Now he'll double back. They'll take it away and throw it to him. Oh, he dropped a touchdown. Rory Anderson. He knows it. A beautiful play call. They reversed the motion.
And not only that, Brent, but Connor Shaw read it perfectly and went right over top of Kiki Mingo. Right exactly where you want this play drawn up. The coverage that you want. You mentioned how they used the motion. They found out the coverage by moving the tight end a little bit. Perfect setup. They just weren't able to hold on to the football.
Second down and goal against this tough LSU front. Now Lattimore wants to know what's going on. Can he get outside? Battle touchdown. What a great second effort runner number 21 is. What wonderful effort, and the Gamecocks regain the lead.
A great second effort. And watch how he not only, it's just the awareness. Bounces it. Now watch him go up and under this tackler right there. So it's not only the great effort, but an awareness of where the would-be tacklers are. And there are a bunch of them there. Eric Reed's an All-American safety. You got 3 or 4 more white jerseys. He goes underneath it and also maintains a low pad level to continue to fall forward into the end zone.
His 37th career touchdown for the Gamecocks. The extra point tacked on by Adam Yates. South Carolina back in the lead. And now it will be the Tigers' turn here for a huge crowd in Baton Rouge. Landry and Ford are back deep. Here's Ford, number 42. Returnable on the bounce. And that is Ford in a foot race. Got a block. Comes down that far side out of bounds at the 35. So Zach Mettenberger. There is the youngster being wrestled down. Very impressed here with what Jeremy Hill has been able to accomplish against Mr. Clowney and friends here tonight. Now, he didn't get much on that play as Clowney was determined to slow him up, but the youngster has done very, very well. Herbie, he's rushed for 53 yards and the LSU touchdound here tonight.
You catch a little break in Spencer Ware, who's been fighting through some cramps. Heather was telling us about actually back in the lineup, and he was the back that they thought could really be a big part of tonight's game plan.
Second down and 10, and here he comes into the middle of that front, and this will be third and manageable coming up for LSU with Surratt making the stop. What do you South Carolina fans think about the battle uniforms tonight? Do you like them, or would you, as Coach Spurrier prefers, the traditional uniform? Those camouflage pants. I asked for a pair for the manager. I'd like to take him duck hunting in Montana. And one of those old defensive linemen said I can use one of these. So here we go. Third down and 3. Long handoff to Ware, tries to get the edge, and he's going to get that first down. That's a fine run with Swearinger unable to bring him down.
I thought they might get a horse collar there at the end of the play, but again, the tight end sets the edge there with Holloman and gets to the outside. I'm surprised that they didn't call that on Swearinger at the end of this. Oh, maybe actually got a hold of the hair. I'm sorry. The hair is in play, right? Not the jersey.
That's why my wife thinks there should be a rule that they should have to cut it.
Well, you can't reach
you
the
could grab
jersey.
guys like that.
Yeah.
And you can pull them down with the hair.
Can't get to the jersey through all that hair.
Thank you, Mr. Palomalu. Got himself endorsements and everything else. Hilliard back in. Play action. Mettenberger runs into one of the big fellas, and down he goes in the arms of Shaq Wilson.
You know, he has fumbled the football 3 times this year from being in the pocket and sitting there waiting, and eventually the defense gets to him. Last week, Florida was all over him in that backfield, and this time he's waiting for Beckham to clear. And by waiting against this kind of defensive line, you just can't do that. Eventually, they're going to put the pressure on you.
Would help, though, if Copeland had blocked him.
Yeah, that could help.
So Spencer Ware, all right there, huh? Sir Big Spur. He's having a big night here in Baton Rouge, traveling in his motorhome with his owners. That's complete, but that's well short of the first down in the arms of James. But I've noticed with Sir Big Spur that he has stayed away from Mike the Tiger's cage.
Yeah, that put him at the other end.
Yeah, he didn't visit that when he first got here tonight.
Did you hear what Steve Spurrier said about Mike the Tiger? He's not going to be padded up this week, at least not yet anyway.
I think Steve had some interesting things to say, and we'll talk about it in the fourth quarter. You know, we're at Death Valley. I want to show you some humorous quotes that came from South Carolina this week. We'll be right back with the money quarter, folks. 4-point lead at the start of the fourth quarter. All right, Herbie, give me your best Steve Spurrier on this quote about Death Valley.
Well, you know, of course, most of our guys have never been to Death Valley. LSU Stadium is the Death Valley, isn't it? Or is there another one? There's two of them. That's right. There's two Death Valleys.
Little jab at Clemson, and Dabo Swinney came right back. I can see where there would be a little confusion. Got two Death Valleys, two USCs, but only one real one. Little jab in there from Dabo.
And they play this year where?
Clemson, Death Valley.
Death Valley.
Death Valley East.
That's right.
There we go. 3rd down and 6 to start the fourth quarter for LSU. Down by 4 points. Little play action. Handoff. Ware trying to bust it. Got the first down. Fine run by Ware.
Remember, he's been out most of this game. He's fresh right now coming back. We've been bragging about Marcus Lattimore, but how about the second effort here by Spencer Ware? Runs through a would-be tackler. That's Victor Hampton, the corner, and fights for those extra yards to pick up the first down. Yards after contact. You love to see that from the top-shelf SEC backs.
They've got Landry out to the right in this formation, and Mettenberger's going to come back with the running play against Jeridu and his buddies in there. Shaq Wilson defensively for the Gamecocks.
Spencer Ware,
You know, Herbie, we've talked about the South Carolina uniforms that they're wearing tonight, and they really are going to be auctioned off for a good cause. The Wounded Warriors, the soldiers group. So that, you know, we've had some fun with it, but that's really a nice cause. And so I hope you folks back in South Carolina bid them up. Jeremy Hill now, the freshman's in. Back goes Mettenberger. Got that quick slant and a beautiful throw to Jarvis Landry.
Brett, man-free coverage, meaning the corners are locked up. Look at the safety, clear back here in the back, all by himself. So you got a lot of space to work with in here. That's exactly where they decide to try to pick them apart. Bryson Williams has been back there most of the game when the corners have been locked up in press coverage, but he's 20 to 25 yards back, way back there, waiting for the deep pass. And as far as the post route, this time they're hitting him on a quick slant.
Fordham comes in, defensive end. Jeremy Hill's the running back on that quick toss play and up the middle. And he gets rustled down and back. So it'll be 2nd down and goal coming up for LSU.
Shaq Wilson all over this field. Stepping up 5'11", 224 pounds. At Jacksonville, Florida. This LSU offensive line spends a lot of time winning the battles at the line of scrimmage, and it's freed up Wilson as a will linebacker. He's uncovered a lot of times. He's got to make a lot of tackles, and he's been able to do that.
Michael Ford checks in.
Ford comes in. They usually like to get the ball to the perimeter.
2nd and goal. He's lined up at tailback. They're going to try to get there to that perimeter. And he's short of the end zone and busted out of bounds on the 3-yard line by Auguste. Akeem Auguste was the first to hit him.
I mean, they do a good job of mixing in their backs, keeping them fresh. You know, we've seen some success with Hill and Ware more into the teeth and running more downhill, the inside zone play, and bring Ford in to try to bounce it outside. It's a big 3rd down here inside his 5-yard line.
Spencer Ware, you have to think down 4, Herbie, wouldn't you, with 10.5 minutes, that this is 4-down territory to try to get this touchdown?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not even thinking about the field goal to move to within 1, I wouldn't think. Where is the tailback? They're going to throw quickly on the fade. Incomplete, out of bounds. Jacobs was the receiver, and here comes 4th down, and the offense staying on the field right now, but Alama's ready. Alama's ready.
Brent, boy, that wasn't even close.
And then here comes the field goal team, and South Carolina's got to watch the fake. Nobody loves the fake field goal any more than Les Miles.
Mettenberger puts this into the corner. trying to work with his big tight end, but didn't even really give him much of a chance at all to make a play on the football.
I guess in fairness to the decision, if they kick it and you move to within 1 and you get it back and you can win it with another field goal.
Right,
So
and the way the defense is played, you can make an argument either way.
Yeah. He nails the field goal, so now we've got a 1-point game, 14-13. Now it's up to Spurrier to eat some time and move the ball. 1966, Steve Spurrier, quarterback of the Florida Gators, hosting LSU in Gainesville. Going up over the top for a touchdown for the Gators. Now watch Steve's footwork. Keeps moving the feet. This is the year that he wins the Heisman Trophy. He was a great leader of that Gator team. They beat LSU 28-7. Now here's the head ball coach.
I think he's in as good a shape today.
See
as
what he
was
did as a player? I mean, that's pretty impressive. 3-0 against LSU, 4 touchdowns and 408 yards. That is very impressive. Man was a player, and he's never stopped competing. Here we go. His Gamecocks set to receive, leading by 1 point, 10-17. Ellington, the point guard of the basketball team for Frank Martin's Gamecocks, will take a knee. Connor Shaw's got the changeup. Signals the receiver out wide. Right arm rub. Going to roll in that direction. Shaw fires, incomplete. Ellington, and we check in with Reese.
Brett, I went to watch a Big Ten game and the old whack broke out. Ohio State and Indiana up and down the field. It's 31-24. Carlos Hyde dancing into the end zone, virtually unimpeded. Indiana came back and kicked a field goal. A lot of game left, 38-27 late in the third.
Reese, I didn't know that the Big Ten could have a game like that this year. Well, here we are in a 14-13 low-scoring affair with second down and 10 for South Carolina. Drop it off in underneath, and Lattimore makes his way 30-yard line.
Just said before they came out for this drive, you'd think this is a good time to try to get a little conservative, work a little clock. First 2 plays, throws the football, checking from the line of scrimmage, trying to continue to be aggressive.
He needs 6 on this aggression. You can see LSU dominating the time of possession in this game.
Brent, they've had a lot of success right here with this matchup.
They roll, however, to the boundary side. Throw high, intercepted. At midfield, picked off by Eric Reed to find safety. A killer of an interception.
Miscommunication between the wide receivers and the quarterback. The one thing you will want to see by being aggressive was turning the football over. This is the one thing you'd rather see him throw it away, run out of bounds. Connor Shaw has missed the last 3 games. He's not made any mistakes. This time at crunch time, one of his receivers goes down. He ends up trying to throw it back to the inside to Rory Anderson. The ball sails on him right into the arms of Eric Reed.
Reed shaken up over on the sideline now, and a run by Ware up the middle, and it is first down.
Quick count, right to the line of scrimmage. Lost, maybe a little bit of momentum there after the injury and the big interception, but they got it right back with this play call. LSU runs this toss sweep where it's almost just in a handoff. Quarterback blocks the backside in, and Spencer Ware gets downhill in a hurry.
First down now from the 11. They toss it to him. Gets to about the 9-yard line, and he'll be stopped there, and it will be second down and 10. LSU can pick up a first down without scoring if they get across the 1-yard line here.
It is just an absolute war
in the trenches. Watch this LSU offensive line in the pit on this second down against this defensive line. A lot of hands on the hips from South Carolina. They better dig in here with 8 minutes to go.
Jeremy Hill, the running back, will come behind the left side of the line, and he's down at the 7-yard line, and now it will be third down for Mettenberger and LSU. And remember in that last drive down there on that fade, he threw it way out of bounds. So not sure that the LSU coaches want to trust the pass here, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Jacobs checks in.
That's who they threw to the last fade, and it really didn't give him much of a chance. It's 6'5". It sailed over his head.
So with 3rd and 5, he's back on the field. It's going to be Jeremy Hill, and he's not going to get there. This is a 4th down, and the crowd a little restless about those two running plays.
It's almost like he's just setting it up for the go-ahead field goal. Just run it, be conservative, get it to the middle of the field, give your kicker a great chance to execute this and have a chance to take a 2-point lead.
Reed Ferguson is the snapper. Brad Wing, the punter, will hold it. And Drew Alama, if they kick it, will be kicking for the lead here. It's a 22-yard field goal. This to put LSU up by 2. Got it. So consecutive field goals and LSU leads, but it's only by 2. LSU with a 2-point lead, 16-14, will kick it off with Bruce Ellington back deep. Zach Mettenberger has been the quarterback, and over on the other side it's Connor Shaw. And you cannot overstress the importance of this game to Steve Spurrier and the Gamecocks and to Les Miles and LSU. I'm going to tell you after this kickoff what road LSU has to travel, but should they make it a successful journey, they well could wind up back in Miami playing for a national championship. I know that sounds strange, but we'll show you this schedule here in a moment. Ellington now will be coming out from the 2. Out to the 19-yard line and down. Eric Reed has checked back in after being shaken up on his interception. Connor Shaw, quarterback draw, back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down. Anthony Johnson with the stop.
A great push by Benny Logan and Anthony Johnson. We spend so much time with Kiki Mingo and Sam Montgomery off the edge. Sometimes it's easy to overlook Benny Logan and Anthony Johnson. That time Johnson really got a good push there. Connor Shaw had nowhere to step up into the pocket.
There's Reed back on the field. Second down and 11. Can't find an open receiver and has to throw it away. And here comes 3rd down and 11 for the Gamecocks.
It's the first time in the last 3 games that we've seen Connor Shaw a bit rattled. The coverage, the crowd, he looks unsure. This time he had an open receiver and Bruce Ellington breaking free, but his eyes, he's not really trusting what he's seeing. And here comes the pressure from John Chavis' defense. That time he just kind of backed up and just had to throw it away, but he had an open receiver downfield.
The Gamecocks are only 2 of 10 on 3rd down, and they need 11 yards on this one. In trouble, sacked at the 7-yard line by Sam Montgomery. The South Carolina native sends a message to the home folks.
And confusion up front on the left side of the offensive line. Sam Montgomery, of all people, is the guy you want to watch. But because of the pressure to the outside with the Micah Eugene, who's had some success this year blitzing, he has 3 sacks. It caught the attention that time of Corey Robinson, and you do not want to leave Marcus Lattimore there to block Sam Montgomery alone.
Beckham, fair catch. at midfield, and that's got to be a penalty flag. I'm sure he signaled for a fair catch, didn't he?
First down for the Tigers.
And off to the youngster. Hill breaks free in a foot race. Can't catch it. How about this freshman? 50 yards for a touchdown, and that's the dagger. What a performance by Jeremy Hill of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Alama is on, tacks on the extra point. With this run, he is now over 100 yards for the game, Herbie.
This is part of the wear and tear of what LSU has done. Collins, it's a power play, is going to lead the way. The fullback as well will lead it in there with Copeland. Watch Collins with a great block 7. He just takes the linebacker out. And these runs that we've seen throughout 4 quarters of football have taken a toll on this front 7 from South Carolina. They've held up, and eventually, with a game looking like it's starting to go in the other direction, maybe they lose their edge a little bit mentally. Shaq Wilson just a step slow that time, not able to do it. And the battle up front, the entire game. It's crazy to think after a week of dominating Georgia up front, 1 week later, it's LSU who's dominating up front in the trenches with their offensive line at home against South Carolina's front. He's got the clap going down there.
Wellington swings free to the right. And he'll be out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Complete.
I think that's what everybody wanted to see. South Carolina looks so good at home. Would they be able to play with that same edge on the road, where, as you said, it's tough? Think about LSU last week at the Swamp. Obviously tough in this conference, and now they're in such obvious passing situations. LSU coming after it.
2nd and 6. Mingo and friends just trying to tee it up. Benny Logan in pursuit. And Shaw dumps it off, and it'll be 3rd down and 6. And on 3rd down, the Gamecocks are 2 of 11.
Steve Spurrier,
Steve is very upset.
Well, he's upset because Lamar Lewis, a true freshman, hit his quarterback after he threw the football.
Let's take a look here.
Throws the ball. You look at it in slow motion, it's easy to say, well, that was late. It wasn't high. I don't think it was late.
The Gamecock coaches wanted the call. Steve, I remember, had a costly penalty called against him in a big Florida loss here when they were ranked #1. Snaps it off to Ace Saunders. They got the 1st down. They'll move the chains. And now the coaches are pointing at Simon.
With Steve Spurrier, as much as they're known for their running with Marcus Lattimore and Connor Shaw, these guys are still coached up very, very well when it comes to this kind of moment in the game where you got to get the ball downfield. You got to be able to try to get points on the board, and you got to get the defense back out to try to get the ball back. All 3 timeouts remaining here, but Connor Shaw's got to move quickly.
From the pocket, complete. 1st down.
Yeah, LSU's giving the underneath coverage. They're giving them these plays, but the problem is by giving these plays away underneath, when Bird fights and he comes back and then goes across the 1st down marker, obviously in college football, that's going to stop the clock and give South Carolina a chance to get up to the line of scrimmage.
Clock cranks down to 3:30. Shaw goes deep down that far sideline, and it's out of bounds. D.L. Moore, and there's a penalty flag.
The only thing I can think of there, Brent, I mean, there was a little push. I think it might have been with Craig Loston leading with his head and trying to target the receiver.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 6, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
I think that had everything to do with the intent and what he was trying to do. It's not the pass interference call on Simon. It's right there. A little bit of contact, but it was the intent where he's targeting the receiver. See, the fans are upset because it wasn't a big hit. It's more about what he was trying to do.
I think he hit him out of bounds. I thought the helmet came across the back after the receiver was out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a little nudge, but according to the officials, when you lower your head like that, they're going to get you.
First down and 10. In LSU territory, Shaw on the move, complete to Ellington. And Ellington is across the 15-yard line. Now, strike quickly and go to the onside kick.
They're gonna have to fire the ball here. It looks like, or maybe they go with a play, but he stepped up in the pocket. There was pressure. They brought a corner blitz. Really nice job by Connor Shaw maintaining his poise there and getting this team down to the field of the 15.
They're going to come in a hurry now. First down and 10. Only got 3 minutes left, and they've got to have a couple of scores. Shaw on the move, going to take it out of bounds, stop the clock at about the 12-yard line, and so it'll be second down coming up.
This is where it gets tough, obviously, to execute as a passer. This is something that Steve Spurrier works against his first-team defense all the time and trying to give them a real look against real speed of an SEC defense to try to get the timing down between his quarterback and receivers down inside this 15-yard line.
He's got 4 receivers. Kenny Miles is in the block, and the safety valve, and down goes Shaw in the arms of number 49, Barkevius Mingo.
Well, the LSU defensive line and their pass rush has changed their philosophy. Now Kiki Mingo is turning the corner. Now he's using his speed to go around Brandon Shell, the redshirt freshman. He's been a little bit conservative trying to avoid Connor Shaw stepping up. This time he changes it up, gets around the corner with the speed.
Drop it off in underneath. That's Ellington, tried to run away and could not. He's down at the 17-yard line. Eugene makes the tackle.
They're gonna keep the offense out there.
They're not going to settle for the field goal. No. They're going to keep going here at 2:11 on 4th and 13. What do you fans think about this? He needs a couple of scores. You're going to need an onside kick at some point. Fire middle. Touchdown, maybe. Let's see, no signal. There it is. The field judge has got his arms up, and he signals touchdown. Adams was the receiver that time. Gerald Adams, the freshman from Pinewood, South Carolina.
Running on the field is a touchdown.
On 4th down.
Steve Spurrier, you and I up here, a couple bozos, kick the field goal, get within a possession. He's thinking, you know what? Perfect time to dial up a true freshman tight end for the play of the game.
Well, that's going to have instant replays going to be taking a look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if the knee is down before the ball gets across.
Before you're jumping on all the bozos who are saying you got to have 2 scores, okay? And the field goal, you're still going to have an onside kick.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, if that elbow is down flat before he gets in,
good to see Eric.
It's going to be
back.
LSU ball.
Review. The ruling is that the ball carrier was down at the half-yard line. It will be first down from the left hash mark.
I don't think some of the players or fans realize that it's a first down. I think they felt they may have stopped him. Now you just got to get into the end zone, try to save those 2 timeouts, get the ball snapped as quickly as you can.
Get in behind that big center. T.J. Johnson did it quickly, and Les wants that clock to start. He wants that clock wound. That's what the signal is down there. Kenny Miles is the running back and not Lattimore. Now he winds it. Slant touchdown, Ellington.
Brent, you got to give Connor Shaw a lot of credit for bouncing back after the interception. LSU, not only with the interception, put a big score up on the board. They come right back, 11 plays, 77 yards, little over 3 minutes, and they get a touchdown. This is the big one, 4th and 15. Didn't get it into the end zone, but he found the tight end, the freshman, true freshman Adams, gets it down to the half-yard line, and then the toss into Ellington. Looks off to safety, puts the ball right on the money.
Now Yates becomes the prominent Gamecock player. First the extra point to make it a 2-point game. And now the onside kick. And the hands people for LSU will be setting up shop. .141 to go, and biggest play of the night for South Carolina is coming up. Gamecocks still with 2 timeouts should they not be able to recover it, but first down will start hammering the nails in the coffin.
This is something that every single college football team practices on both sides of the ball. Trying to receive, get the hands team out there, and also, of course, trying to find a kicker who can come up with a creative bounce. You practice it, and then it comes down to a 2-point game with 1:41 to go, and you got to try to execute it.
Yates is one who is there. And instead, they've got
a perfect kicker.
A couple of kickers. Yates is going to go to the side. Tried to spin it over back out of bounds. LSU football. So the ball across midfield with the penalty. Copeland and Spencer Ware. And Ware will handle it. Nothing much doing, and here will come a Carolina timeout at the 1:35 mark. One more timeout to go. Speaking of Jeremy Hill, he checks into the game. 15 carries for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. Certainly the player of the game. Gets the call. And that's going to bring up about a 3rd down. And a long 6, it looks like, here at the 129 mark. Now exhaust their timeouts.
They stop them, they'll get the ball back with 35 or 40 seconds left.
Here comes the freshman. And now it'll be up to Wing. He's had a little bit of an off night as a punter. And you wonder if the Gamecocks might not come after him, although he's an Australian rules veteran. And he moves very well and gets off the punt. So we shall see what happens here with Brad Wing from Melbourne, Australia. So here we go. Drives it low and into the end zone, where it will come out on the 20-yard line with 35 seconds to go. They'll put the ball in the hands of Connor Shaw at the 20-yard line. Connor Shaw, 17 of 31, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 critical interception.
All they need is a field goal. They don't need to drive it, get a touchdown. Steve Spurrier has Connor Shaw coming off his last drive where he found his rhythm. You got to work the sidelines, and you got to get first downs to help you with the clock. No timeouts left.
Adam Yates' career long is 38 yards. From the middle, drops it off to Lattimore, who picks up 8 yards, and they got to hurry. They've got to hurry now.
He's frustrated. He wanted to go downfield.
Drops it off. This time the clock will stop on the first down with 12 seconds to go, but they're not getting the chunks they need.
You got to fire this into the ground, kill this clock right at the snap.
10 seconds to go. They get to the 20-yard line. It would be a 37-yard field goal.
You can see Steve Spurrier yelling, jump ball, jump ball.
He's got 10 seconds.
Throw it off to his left. He's got some size.
Firing down that far side and intercepted. LSU will beat South Carolina as Craig Lofton comes up with the interception. And the game comes to an end with the Tigers winning a badly needed game here in Death Valley. Les Miles going out to shake hands with Steve Spurrier. Coming up next on Sports Center, you'll get up to date on all of the scores and highlights, top stories. Plenty of post-game coverage from game one of the Tigers and the Yankees. LSU wins it. Thanks for watching ESPN, home of the Discover BCS National Championship. So long from Baton Rouge. Here's Sports Center.